Hello and welcome to AmassGames. Today I'm bringing you 80 through 71 of what I believe is to be the top 250 board games of all time. These do include promos and expansions. Please hit subscribe to check the rest of this list as it comes out and hit the notification to be aware of when it does come out. Also check out the playlist for this particular set of games as well as other playlists available. So on we go into number 80, and here we have Elements. This is a two-player game by the only set of designers I know that is called Team Saiyan, or anything known as a team. Dennis Lockhausen is everywhere in this list, as you've already noticed, and again he's been prevalent with this particular design. The art itself is the classic tropes of sorcery and magic and fire and earth and things like that. And in this particular game, we're trying to get sets. You're trying to work in a kind of very interesting meld involving cards, and you're trying to ultimately get and to make sure your opponent cannot go. You do that by knocking. There are 5 key things to the game, and that's down here. You're playing a card from your hand, you're drawing a card, you can knock and basically discard a 6 from your hand as well, and you can fold. That basically saying, I don't think I'm going to win this round, I think you might. I'm only going to give you a point of 2. It's the first to get 6 points. It's quite a tricky game to explain, to be honest, and this is my video here, and as you can see it's got quite a few thumbs up. In fact, it's had some great reviews and lots of people watch the video. It's one of the most watched videos that I have on the channel, and it's a very interesting game. I think it's, as two-player games go, it just has these oversized cards, and again, like I say, you're trying to, again, you could use other sets of cards. Apparently you can play with Uno cards, etc., standard bicycle cards. But for me, what I really like about it is just this kind of weird interaction whereby you have no idea what your opponent has. And if I have a total cards in front of me saying 13, and you have, say, 14 in your display, then you're going to win. But in the central location, if there's more than 14, then you're going to run the risk of actually people, your opponent beating you. Unfortunately, there's nothing out here that shows all the respective cards, which is pretty terrible. But again, I'll put a link in for the specific game. But yes, you're going to have cards in the center, and you're looking to ultimately ensure that your total in front of you is less than, but greater than your opponent, but lower than what is in the center. This is hopefully going to give us a kind of indication. So here you are. I've got some cards here. This is a poor example because actually it's just, they're all different sets. And the central set is, say, that makes, say, 30. I've got 6 in front of me. My opponent might have more, they might have 8. I've got to try and get up closer to this number. But you can take cards from the centre, so you're adding cards to here, reducing this down. Ideally, you want to exactly match that. But you cannot then declare yourself the winner. You've got to wait until your opponent's been, and then it's your turn, by which time this has then been in flux again. Very, very clever little quirky, puzzly game that's really enjoyable. Up next, we have the SPIEL.digital's Kinderspiel winner from 2001, which is still stuck in Germany. A couple of copies, and this is a dexterity game for kids, but kids and upwards. Involves bluffing as well, and you have this lovely rope, you have this lovely tin pan, and you have gold and other nuggets, and you're trying to roll it around and predict how well someone's going to just, empty stuff off of their tray. And if you correctly predict what's going to happen, then you could do better than the person who actually was doing the rolling. So a very clever little game. I look forward to bringing you a video as soon as I can. Up next, Seven Wonders. We talked about Seven Wonders Duel. This is Seven Wonders. This came out first, and I do actually have the second edition. And for Seven Wonders, this is a 2+ game. I've never tried it as a 2. I'm still very keen to. I've heard mixed reviews, but very keen to try it out. So enjoyed Sushi Go 2-player. I thought the strategy was really nice. And it's a card drafting engine building game, a very nice light entry game to the series. First time it took almost an hour, but 30 minutes is more than comfortable. I've played this game as a 3 in 8 minutes. Beautiful colours going on here. Let's take a look at these pictures. Very nice creativity going on there. And it's a game again where you're trying to get the most points, getting some resources, improving those resources, improving your industry, your civilization, and ultimately having the best wonder over everybody else. And you can win either with your science or the leadership, lots of military, and lots of different ways to win. So it's really how you manage to improve that. I'm going to thumb this up. This looks fantastic. And same here. This is just check out this person, whoever this person is. But yeah, very impressed. So yeah, look at this. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow, fantastic. Cool. let's check out that Instagram. So over here we have obviously loads of boxes of Seven Wonders at a great wall. We've got some more components looking fantastic. Six Nymph. This is a game we've already talked about in terms of Wolfgang Kramer. Fantastic game from 1994. It's got lots of different variants as well. It won the Mensa Select winner and was recommended for the Spiel.digital's 1994 as well. It didn't win it. I have played the game. 1994 I think it was won by Mississippi Queen. And yeah, this is a very interesting game which has a nice range of players, 2 to 10. I've played at all player counts. Yeah, it's very chaotic with the higher player counts. It's very fun, it's very swift. And yes, you're trying to make sure that you're not playing the sixth card. And I think we'll probably get, there's so many different fan art versions. Let's quickly go through a couple of them. So yes, what you're looking to try and do is ensure that when you're playing out these cards, you are not playing out, and this goes to show you can use other decks of cards, you can use playing cards as well, and you're trying to make sure you have the lowest score possible. Sometimes in some rounds, it's happened to me more than once, I've actually not scored any points, which is a good thing, but it's the sixth card in a row you're going to have to take. And when you take a card, it's going to have these bull horns, these Hornochsons in German, and each of those is obviously negative points. So there's 5 negative points, it's -7, that's the worst, -3, -1. And you'll see that these are singles, so each colour represents a different kind of amount. So you're trying to get the fewest amount of points. So some players say 50, some players are 52, but you all reveal at the same time, and I had 55. Well, I play the 55 out, that's fine, but it's whichever roll I add it to, well, that'll go back to the beginning of the row, and whatever was the row I took, which might involve these cards, well, that's -1 points, that's -3. Again, the worst score. You do not want all these points, basically. So assume they're positive, and you want the lowest score. Okay, so yes, we talked about Spiel.digital and obviously how things got on. These other games I haven't really played, but Lupin Louis, well, I have played that too, and actually 2 honorees, very interesting. Manhattan, well, I do have Manhattan, and I have played that by the fantastic Andreas Seefarth. We've talked about him earlier with Turn and Taxis. Okay, Nockmal is an expansion. This is the first set for this fantastic game. I've played with the other expansions. In fact, that is my copy, and those are the different sheets out there. And this is a game whereby you are looking to roll dice, and when you roll dice, you're looking to actually see, what on earth's going on. How can I get the best points possible? So you're going to move up these various tracks, and you move left and right based on the die rolls. And when you go out, you're then choosing to say, well, in this instance, I've rolled, say, a blue and say a 3. So from the opening section, you'll see I can't actually go. I mean, if you had the other ones, you could. But if I happen to roll a 3, anything with a 3, you wouldn't be able to go. So you might take a different thing. We have a 5. Let's say I'd rolled, I've got a black here, so I can do anything I like. So I'll do the 3 black. The 3, let's say 5 black. So across here, anything with a 5, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I do 5 of those yellows. And then what I do, because I use a wild, which is a black, or if you happen to use the question mark, you're going to cross this off. Anything remaining at the end is going to give you a point back. So you lose a point for going down here, or you gain a point for having these uncrossed. You also lose 2 points for any stars you haven't crossed in. You get completing the column first, or if multiple people do, you're going to get points equal to what these are, and you're going to get 5 bonus points if you're the first to complete a colour scheme as well. Completing 2 colour schemes by 1 person ends the game, and then find out your final score. Right, so this is on the no person, who this person is, but very interesting. Let's see what I've rated. 10. Okay. So 1 week Ultimate Werewolf. Now I actually quite like this. I know it hasn't been well reviewed. I like the fact that it just has a bit more depth to it, because in a single round it's kind of like, it does get a bit samey if you played a lot of games of One Night Ultimate Werewolf. So I think it actually has a nice ampage to it. Having said that, I think the reason it can be prone-wise tricky is the fact that people make mistakes. That's the biggest thing. So that's all I can say about that game. Demons. This is not the version of Demons I'm talking about. It's a different one which hasn't actually been released yet. So I'm just sticking it in here, sort of log play. And it's basically the second in a series of games by Hexen Games, which is the other game being Thieves. So I'll show what Thieves looks like. I talked about this before, I believe. And Thieves is a game whereby you're rolling dice, but you're rolling 2 dice, so it's not like a roll and move, because you can pick, and therefore it adds strategy to it. And you're choosing to go out, and in Demons, you're starting in the centre, and it's inspired by Hennefertafel, was regional champion for. And what you're looking to do is actually roll outwards, and you're trying to actually reach the exits. So you're either playing the demons or that kind of demon king, and you're trying to obviously the slayers are trying to ensnare. So that's kind of an example of what you're doing, and yeah, it's a very interesting concept thing to be aware of. So there we go. I haven't got the badge yet. Let's just grab it. If I've got enough geek gold, which maybe I do. I do. Okay. So onto this game. This is a marriage game. This is a trilogy of games, and this is one of those games in the trilogy, Polish-themed game where you're looking to work with partners, and it's a bit like, I guess, Family Fortunes or various quiz shows, things like it, where you're trying to say what your partner would do. I haven't actually played any games like that before, specifically like this, and I know the artist is apparently a famous Polish cartoonist. He's done various different games. I just felt that I really, really enjoyed it. Wifey didn't like it at all, but I kind of really actually found it very interesting. Potentially better with more players. I think best as a 4, but I enjoy just saying like, what do I think you'd do? And I think knowing to predict someone like that, they don't always like it. Okay, we have Terraform Mars, the self-replicating robots promo card. This does a couple of things. It costs you a couple of tags to need, and allows you to basically reveal a space building from your hand and place your resources on it. Or you can double on the card here, but ultimately it does reduce the number of resources on it when you play it out. So cards may be played from it as if from your hand, with the cost reduced by the number of resources on it, so it makes things a bit cheaper. So I just like that as a nice card to have, just because, of course, it has a nice bonus to it. So Ticket Ride Demo, I really did enjoy it. It slipped me a bit because I think the games like Ticket Ride London have kind of superseded it. It's just black and white, typically. Obviously got a bit of coloration going on there. And the box, as you can see, is also just black. It's a very minuscule route. There's no special conditions. You're just trying to complete this thing. Unfortunately, it's very expensive to get now, and you might as well just get a ticket to ride, well, London or a Mini or something like that. So, no new difference there. It's just set collection, playing out routes, trying to complete and get their score. Well, that's it. Thank you very much. I look forward to bringing you another one as soon as possible. All the best. Bye for now.